Birmingham was once considered a prime location for a major airport. Why did Atlanta get it? That question was submitted as part of Ask Alabama. And I've heard this story before about how Birmingham was supposed to get a big airport, but the city screwed up or got swindled, and it went to Atlanta. But I don't think it ever happened, at least not how most people think. So there is an actual story of a time when the Birmingham airport got swindled by Atlanta. It was back in the 1920s, but Birmingham wasn't up for a major airport. The Commerce Department was just choosing which airports to include as part of their airmail route between New York and Miami. Birmingham made an early bid and for a bunch of technical reasons was considered a frontrunner, but then Atlanta Alderman William Hartsfield, who was a big proponent of early air travel, convinced an assistant postmaster general to come to his city to inspect his airport for consideration. But when the guy from the Postal Service arrived, the inspection was not high on the to-do list. Instead, the people in Atlanta treated him like a celebrity. They paraded him through the streets, they wined him and dined him with the governor and the mayor and other rich people in town, and put him up in a luxury hotel suite. Now, this representative from the Postal Service never documented his thoughts on the city, at least not in a place anyone can find, but after his visit, the decision was made to include Atlanta in the airmail route instead of Birmingham. Now, just becoming part of the airmail route may seem like a small deal, but it was actually huge. See, in the early days of commercial airlines, particularly in the 30s during the Great Depression, passenger flights weren't enough to keep big businesses afloat. So most major airlines made their money off of fat government contracts to deliver the mail. Securing the airmail route meant Atlanta was now flying mail for nearly every major American city in the country, while Birmingham was just handling the mail going into or coming out of Alabama. So when Delta Airlines moved its headquarters in 1941, it made sense to set up in Atlanta because that's where most of the business already was. Now, I know a lot of people may be saying, that's not the story I heard, but I don't think the story you heard ever happened. Our asker thought the major airport was given to Atlanta, but airports aren't given, they're built, and Atlanta focused a lot of effort on building and expanding their airport and bringing in business. Birmingham was never really focused on air travel because it was focused on the steel industry. Some people thought Birmingham blew its shot to get a Delta hub when it raised tax on plane fuel in the 40s. But Delta didn't use the hub and spoke system of air travel until the mid-1950s, so they weren't looking for a hub in the 40s. And even more people have heard that racial tensions stopped Delta from placing their hub in Birmingham, but that didn't really become national news until the late 50s, early 60s, after the Delta hub had already been set up in Atlanta. Finally, some people heard, well, it wasn't Delta looking to set up a hub at all, it was another airline. But bad news again, because most other airlines didn't use the hub and spoke model of air travel until nearly the 80s. So again, nobody was looking to make a hub in Birmingham. My gut wants to say the story everybody has heard about Birmingham nearly getting a major airport is a complete fabrication, but I can't prove a negative. All I can say is I can't find a shred of evidence to support those theories beyond just people in message boards relaying a story they heard once with confidence. And I'm not alone, we asked around. The only thing written on the subject is a nearly 15-year-old article by the Birmingham Business Journal, and they also couldn't find any evidence. So my best guess is this is an urban legend that sort of grew out of that story about the time we lost an airmail route. That's it. I'm Jonathan Soboleski for Reckon.